So it is a big day today. Woo, it's hot out here, but we are getting our quail today. This is the day where we are going to pick up the quail. I got the little brooder set up here. Nothing fancy, just getting started. We're getting 50 quail to start. We're going to do a lot of stuff with the quail, but I'm excited to get them and finally have some animals at the new house. Outside of our dogs, of course. They'd be mad if I didn't count them, but some livestock. Technically, it's about as small as you can get, but we're getting our quail today. And here's the quail setup, nothing fancy, just a little, just a kiddie pool with some water. These are quail waters, special so they don't drown themselves in it. So it's very, very small there. The feed trough, I'm picking up the feed with the quail. Then we got the heat lamp over here, nothing fancy, just some chain link fence on some nails so I can adjust that if it needs higher or lower. I'm supposed to put the quail in there, watch how they are. If they're tucked up under the light, that means I need it lower. If they're far away from the light, that means I need it higher. And then over here, we have just an extra light because it gets dark. There are no windows in our garage, so we'll turn that on during the day for the quail. Right here, we have all the lumber that I am going to build their house out of. That'll be another video. I'll be building the quail house. But yeah, first animals are showing up tonight. And we have our quail home. They're coming everywhere. All right, we're gonna put them in. Look at that little guy. All right, so we have newspaper in the bottom of our brooder right now. We only did that because we could not find any of these pine shavings, which we finally found today. So we're gonna shift this over. We're gonna try to take the newspaper out, put the pine shavings in there. These are gonna be really good for composting later. We're gonna take the poop from the quail mixed with this, because that's what it's gonna be stuck in, and we're gonna put it in our composter, and then next year we'll be able to put that in our garden, but that's down the road. Look a little better on that. Less slipping. So we're on day, I believe day 4 with the quail. These things are already, there's some that are getting really big. There's still some runts here that, you know, they might not make it, but we had to put this net on them because if you look at them, they're trying to fly away. They're trying to fly out of the little tub. So we're gonna, this is just version 1. We're gonna change up our brooder in the future, but with supply issues, this is all we could find. So we're gonna keep looking, but I'm going to plant the garden today. We're gonna be planting the garden, and then we're gonna be building up the quail house. But these things are trying to fly away, so fishing net on, and that'll work. So today we get the first harvest from our quail. Yes, that's right. We've had our quail for about 4 days now, and we are going to get our first harvest. So what is that harvest going to be? Oh yeah, it's going to be their droppings. Yes, we are going to clean out all these wood chips here that are full of quail poop, which is going to be great composting. So what I'm going to do is we have a composting bin out back. I got a 5-gallon bucket. I'm going to load all of that into the 5-gallon bucket, take it out to the composter, and by next spring, that is going to be able to supercharge our garden. So what I got set up here is I'm just going to use this box. I'm going to put the quail in it, and then I'm going to scoop that out with a shovel, and then we're gonna be able to put it out back. All right, so I got the fresh shavings in here. I got all the quail in here. I need to get them back into here. It only took me a couple minutes. We got a decent half bucket of compost to start, but let's get these quail back over into their house. So as I was moving these birds, I noticed something interesting, and maybe if somebody's raised quail before, they could fill me in. Look at these 2 birds. These are supposed to be the same age and one's like this size, one's this size. I don't know if like this is a jumbo quail and that's a normal quail. They're 4 days old, and this one's looking huge, and that one's looking not that big. We got the top of the quail cage finished. We got our first batch of the older quail. According to the group that I'm on Facebook, they said these are about almost 2 weeks old for this batch up here. And then we got our batch here closer to a week old. Now we just got all the little guys left over here in the brooder, giving them a lot more space. So a couple days into the quail, into their new house, I found this when I went to check on the quail. Yes, that is a black snake. I had to get all the quail out as soon as possible and then remove this from the house. All right, so today is a big day for the quail. We have them old enough where we are going to have to sex them out, and we are going to put our layers up top with a couple roosters so that we can have fertile eggs, so that we can hatch them in our incubator. So what we have to do, because they are in 2 groups right now, we have to put them all in one cage, and we're gonna put them in one cage for a little bit, and it's gonna kind of disorient them, be like, oh, I don't know where I'm at. Then we put them back in their cages separated. If we don't do that, they're gonna pick on each other. If I move somebody up into the top and it's not been there before, they're gonna be like, who are you? You're not part of our group, and they're gonna attack them. But if I go and I put them all in this box, there's some stuff in there for them to play with, and they're just gonna be in there for a couple hours. Then when I put them back, they're gonna be like, oh, it's a brand new house, and they're gonna most likely get along a lot better. That's what I learned online. First time ever doing this, so we're gonna try. So here's the box. This is actually an old chicken box mover, so I use it to move the chickens and stuff too, but my great grandpa actually built this. So we're gonna be putting the quail in here. I got some mint in here, I got some food, I'll put some water, and then I'm gonna put them in here for a little bit. I'm gonna take this out, I'm gonna clean this out, and then we're going to put them all back in. So the difference between the roosters and the hens when it comes to quail is their chest. Notice how these are the roosters, and these are the biggest ones. So I kind of try to separate the biggest ones. But if you look at their chest, it's going to be pretty smooth. Let's see if I can get one to look at us here. No one wants to look at us. Let me grab, there you go. You see their chest? See how it's pretty tan, it's pretty smooth all the way through there. It's not speckled. So that's the roosters. Now again, this is my first time. I'm not gonna say I'm an expert at this, but if we look down here, this is where I'm putting the hens, and you can see on the hens, they're gonna be more speckled. So let me see this one right here, if it'll help. No. So you can see these guys, now they are littler, so there might be a little rooster in here, but you can see how her chest is more speckled. Now, I might be wrong with some of the gendering because it might be a little early. Again, mainly I wanted to separate these. You can see the speckles really good on her that just ran by. But I wanted to separate these by size, because look at these guys, look how big they are. I mean, these are even bigger here. But then down here, I got the small ones, and these are the little guys. So these are the ones that I don't know why they're so tiny, but they're definitely pretty tiny here. And you can see by how small they are, there's 3 of them in there. I don't want them anywhere near these big guys up top here. So that's just a quick breakdown of the quail. And again, we will keep you along the journey as we continue through. So you probably don't need to see in here because it's not a pretty sight, but this is our composter. What happens here is that's where we put all our stuff to decompose so that we can use it as fertilizer for our garden. It's one of the greatest things about this whole homesteading process and having livestock and raising vegetables is that when you have livestock, you can use that manure to fertilize for your vegetables next year. So we got our garden in already. It's just right here. This is one of the gardens. It's growing very, very well, but next year we'll be able to put in this fertilizer and it should help it even grow better. So that's what we're doing out here, and that's how we're putting every single part of this quail operation to good work so that we can build up our land, upgrade our soil, and then grow better food. That's what it's all about here. That's our goal. 1 Thessalonians 4:11. Make it your goal to live a quiet life, mind your own business, and work with your hands, just as we instructed before you.